Hey guys, Eric here today and doing a quick video to show you in a fun way how to read a nutrition label. Alright, so in this video what you're going to learn is you're going to discover how to read what the nutrition label is. Alright, you're going to figure out what everything is, what it all means, and you're also going to learn how many calories there are in everything, in fats, carbs, and proteins. And there's a way and a trick to figure it out, and I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of this. Alright, so what you want to know is that most people don't know how to read a label. They only look at a few things. They look at the calories and they look at the fat content. The reason they look at this is because it's what they know is bad, and the other thing is they don't know what everything else is. They don't know how to read it. So that's just what they focus on. So what I'm going to do, take out my nutrition label and just break everything down and show you what everything is. So that way when you go to the supermarket, pick something up, you'll know. First thing you see up on top here is going to be nutrition facts. Yes, it tells you how much of everything there is per serving in here. Now, the interesting thing to know is here you see 144 grams for serving size, and then servings per container. There's nothing listed. The reason it is some products, there's loopholes in the law that they can get through where the products don't have to list that. Now, that's pretty scary. If it's not something listed per container or by the ounce or a number that you're familiar with, stay away from it. For example, here, 144 grams. I don't know how much 144 grams is, so I would probably stay away from it just looking at that. Alright, now we dive into the next thing we look at. First thing on top of there is the calories. 170 calories from this are 80. Now what's interesting, okay, it just tells you the calories, but I may want to know, well, how much of this by percent, it's not said on here, is actually made up from fat. So all I do is I take that number 80 on the right hand side, calories from fat, and I divide it by the total number of calories, and I multiply it by 100. And this gives me my percentage. So 47% of this product is made up of fat. Alright, so that's I know 47%, I can rationalize that number better than 80 calories out of 170. Alright, next thing we're going to look at here is the percent daily value. That tells you how much, based out of a 2,000 calorie diet, you're taking in from one serving of this. Alright, now the interesting thing is on the bottom here, this chart, you relate that to the percent daily values. You can see in this chart, tells you how many grams are recommended for each of a 2,000 calorie diet or a 2,500 calorie diet. And you can use these numbers here and compare it to all of the other things that I'm going to show you here. So for example, first thing you're going to see is the fat. If you look in there, it says total fat for this is 9 grams. 14% of this, it makes up out of 100% is what you're taking in per one serving on this. And also, if you're not sure and you want to know how many grams you need out of 2,000 calories, again, just look down at the bottom. That bottom chart is really one of the most important things, and you can compare to see how many grams you have per day or what you need. Alright, so the next thing we have listed on here, cholesterol is 0. We all know that's bad. Stay away from that. Next thing, sodium. You can see 60 milligrams. It's only 3% of your daily value out of 100. And again, if you want to really know how many milligrams you need to be having per day and everything, just go down to that chart at the bottom. It'll tell you. Alright, next thing, total carbs, 22 grams. It's only 7%, so that's really not too bad. Okay, again, you can compare it to the bottom and the amount of grams that you're looking for. Same thing with dietary fibers. Alright, now what you need to know, dietary fiber is a good thing. That's a number that you probably want to have a little bit higher on there than mostly all the other things. Everything else in here you want to have low, what you see so far. Dietary fibers you'd like to have higher numbers, okay, but that's actually not too bad for one serving. And then sugars. Basic idea, lower the number on sugars, the better. Interesting thing about this though, if you notice, there's no percent daily value. It's because they haven't set a recommended value yet to know how much sugar there is to consume, that you need to consume. And the same thing goes for protein. There's only 3 grams. They haven't set the right amount. I have some ideas as to why, but basically it's probably just because everybody's body type is different and it's hard to judge that. Now, that being said, most important part on here are the vitamins. It's the one area that, more than anything, people just don't even look. For some reason, they don't look under this line, and I've asked and surveyed people, and they, their eyes don't gravitate towards that. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the way that it's written. But what you need to know about this is, you'll see I'm going to highlight this, total fat in yellow. You want to limit these you want to limit your cholesterol, and you want to limit your sodium. There should be one more for sugars. You want to limit that also. But those are the big three that you really want to stay away from. And what you want to do is you want to focus on increasing your vitamin intakes down there. Get as close as you can to 100% of all those. And if you go over, that's okay with these, as long as you go over and without doing it by increasing your calories. Make sense? All right, good. Now we'll go back to the percent daily value. These numbers over here, there's also a reason, another good reason for these numbers. Not only you can see how much is made up of that out of the total amount that you need to take per day, but you can also generally see if there's a lot of total fat, cholesterol, sodium in this product. And here's how to judge. 5% or less is low, 20% or more is high. Now if you look in this, there's none of those, it's in a pretty good range. All right, this really doesn't look like that. It's too bad. There's nothing higher than 20%. Higher is usually bad except for your dietary fiber. All right, so next thing I want to show you is I'm going to show you and tell you how many calories per gram are in the fats, carbs, and proteins. Now this is really cool. Now on the bottom here you'll see this flashy little graphic. It tells you, all right, so for every gram of fat you've got 9 calories. For every gram of carbohydrates there's 4. For every gram of protein there's 4 calories. All right, now what does this mean? Well, basically pretty simple. It tells you how many calories you can figure out for each one of those. So if I want to know how many calories are coming from fat exactly, what I do is I take those 9 calories per gram, which are listed on the bottom there, you can see it where it says fat times 9, and then multiply it by the number of grams in the fat up top. Okay, so what you get, 9 times 9, 81 calories. Now, if you don't understand where I'm going with this, pretty simple. We'll do the same thing for the next one. We'll do the same thing for carbs. All you do is just take that number on the bottom there and on the top. Okay, you'll see right there. Take that total number and multiply it by the number on the bottom. So in this case, it's 22 times 4, and that gives you the exact number of calories per one serving of this comes from carbs, which is really interesting. So most of this comes from carbs, which is really good to know. And then you do the same thing for protein, okay? What you do is you take that total number, 3 grams, and again just multiply it by 4, and that gives you the total number of calories that come from protein. In this case, 3 grams times 4, 12 calories. Very simple, very straightforward, and a really interesting tool and way to judge yourself and what you're eating and how many calories you're getting. And the reason that this is so important is if you're on a diet or if you're really trying to limit a certain thing such as your fats, now you know exactly how many calories are in it and you can cut out. So it's really important. That's one of the things I do with everything is I like to figure out how many calories are in each one of those so I know what's good for me. Okay? Now, that being said, before I conclude, I just want to let you know that's a brief takeoff on everything. You now understand how to read the basics of a food label. Really interesting. Now you also know what everything is on there. You know how to go through it, how to read it, and what to look for. And now you can also break down how many calories are in fats, carbs, and proteins. Okay? You're one step ahead of basically everybody else that's out there now that you know how to do this. And use this tool. You can rewatch this video as many times as you want until you understand it. But now you're just an educated consumer, and it makes things much, much easier. And you know what to purchase that's healthy for you. So hopefully this video helped you out, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, I will talk to you soon. Take care.